Welcome, everyone. We're diving deep today, straight from
Buzzsaws.
Bustle's IT knowledge bunker. This is fantastic stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So the theme today is giving IT back.
Giving IT back.
And we're going to be exploring why those really solid IT skills that you've got are not just relevant, but honestly highly sought after
Yeah.
in this crazy cloud-powered world that we live in.
It's true.
I mean, get ready, right?
Yeah.
We're about to uncover some hidden gems. Debunk the myth that traditional IT is, like, gone, right?
Yeah, it's a relic of the past. Like, no.
Yeah.
It's more relevant now than ever, arguably.
Okay, so let's dive into slide 1.
Okay.
This is why IT professionals excel in cloud computing.
Big question.
Huge question, right? And look at the subtitle.
Oh, yeah.
Beyond cybersecurity skills.
It really makes you think.
It does, doesn't it?
There's more to it than just that.
Like, what else is there?
Right.
I know.
Well, it's easy to get, really caught up in cybersecurity, right? That's a hot topic. Everyone's talking about it. But the reality is, your expertise in systems and networks and storage, all that stuff, it gives you this, significant edge in the cloud. Because if you think about it, someone coming from a purely cloud background, they might know the latest and greatest tools, but you
got the foundation.
You understand the principles behind it all.
Yeah.
It's like knowing how a car engine works, right?
Yeah,
and before you start, souping it up and...
Before you try to, exactly.
Just gotta know the basics.
Okay, so on to slide 2.
All right.
The cloud revolution. Transforming industries. We hear this phrase
All the time.
constantly, right?
Yeah.
But what makes the cloud so revolutionary? Really?
Imagine a world where you can access your whole office, everything from anywhere with an internet connection. That's what it is. Scalable, flexible, so cost efficient. Businesses, they can expand, they can shrink their computing resources whenever they need to. No more expensive hardware upgrades, no more we need a bigger office.
It's like having a virtual office that can, just adjust in real time to what you need.
Exactly.
And speaking of real time, how does this cloud revolution impact our lives every single day?
Think about the apps you use.
Okay.
The streaming services, your banking apps,
Yeah.
social media.
It's all a cloud.
All of that relies on the cloud's power, Handling tons of data, tons of traffic seamlessly. Without it, we'd be back to the old days. Slow apps, limited access. Ugh.
I don't even want to think about it.
No.
Okay, on to slide 3. Versatile IT skill set.
Okay.
We've got these 3 core skills listed: hardware management, network proficiency, and database administration. These sound like traditional IT skills, but how do they translate over to the cloud?
So let's start with hardware management, right? You spent years mastering physical servers, and guess what?
It's useful.
That knowledge is gold in the cloud world, because now you're managing virtual machines. Think of it this way. Instead of those giant server racks, you're orchestrating virtual machines, making sure they're running smoothly, efficiently. It's a whole new ballgame.
Okay, so those server room skills, they're still cool.
Super cool.
What about network proficiency? Everything's connected in the cloud.
Everything.
I imagine that's pretty important.
It's crucial understanding those complex networks, right?
Yeah.
Virtual networks, subnets, firewalls.
It's a lot.
It is. Remember that buffering you used to get when you were streaming videos?
Oh, yeah.
Cloud networking experts, they're the ones who make sure that stuff runs smoothly now.
So no more buffering.
In a perfect world, right.
Right.
We're getting there.
Okay, and last but definitely not least, database administration.
Right.
Data is like everything to a company, right? So this skill has got to be super in demand.
Huge demand. With cloud-based databases, you're not just managing data anymore. You're making sure it's always available, it's secure, and it can scale.
That's a big job.
It is. Think of a company like Netflix, right?
Okay.
They rely on massive databases in the cloud to manage all those user profiles, all their shows, everything.
So they can recommend what I should watch next.
Exactly.
All right, slide 4, mastering cloud storage. We're jumping into SSDs versus HDDs.
Oh, the classic debate.
Right. We all know SSDs are the speed demons. But how does that speed difference actually matter in the cloud?
Think about it. In the cloud, you're not just storing files. You're running apps, processing data, serving content to everyone everywhere.
Yay.
Milliseconds matter. Say you're running a real-time analytics platform.
Okay.
SSDs can make the difference between like groundbreaking insights and, falling behind.
So it's not just about speed, it's about how that speed affects everything else.
Oh, ecosystem.
But speed, usually that comes at a price.
Right. True. But that's where storage tiers and IOPS come in. You choose the right storage based on what you need and how much you can spend. Think of it like organizing your stuff. Important stuff like, I don't know, your tax documents.
Yeah.
They go in a safe, readily accessible.
Yeah.
Less important stuff can go in the attic. The stuff you don't need all the time.
So it's like choosing the right storage neighborhood for all your data.
Exactly.
I like that. All right, moving on to slide 5. Ensuring cloud resilience.
All right, resilience.
Backups are important.
Right.
But,
Absolutely.
but this feels like it's way more than just backups.
It is. In the cloud, resilience means your stuff,
Yeah.
your apps, your data. It's available 24/7,
Okay.
no matter what, even if something crazy happens. We're talking about things like multi-region replication, where your data is automatically copied to different locations.
Smart.
Right. Imagine a whole data center going down, like poof, gone,
Uh-huh.
natural disaster, whatever.
Yeah.
With multi-region replication.
Right.
Your stuff just moves to another location. No downtime, no data loss.
That's like having a backup band ready to go if the main act, can't perform.
Exactly.
So what about these other things here? Backup strategies, RAID, data redundancy.
Right. Think of those as layers of protection.
Okay.
Backups, make sure you can restore your data if something goes wrong. RAID, that protects your data by spreading it across multiple disks.
Right.
So if one crashes, you're still good. And data redundancy, that's just having copies of your data in multiple places.
Got it.
So even if one copy gets messed up,
You're good.
you're covered.
Okay, so it's all about minimizing risk
Yes.
and maximizing, uptime, right?
Uptime is key.
Right.
And remember, in the cloud, downtime equals lost money,
Yeah.
damaged reputation.
Not good.
Not good.
Okay, let's move on to slide 6, network interface cards in the cloud. NIs. I remember those.
Yeah, the good old days.
From way back, right? But how do those apply to the cloud?
Okay, imagine a building with a bunch of apartments. The physical NIC, that's like the main entrance.
Okay,
Virtual NICs, those are like doors to each apartment.
gotcha.
In the cloud, each virtual machine needs its own virtual NIC
Yeah.
to talk to the outside world. And just like a building needs a good doorman to manage all the coming and going,
Yeah.
cloud-optimized NICs manage traffic for those virtual machines.
Okay, so IT pros are like cloud doormen.
Basically, making sure everything flows smoothly and securely.
I like it. All right, on to slide 7, virtualization, the cloud cornerstone. This sounds pretty foundational.
It's the foundation of it all.
Why is it so important?
Okay, virtualization, it's the engine of the cloud.
Okay.
It lets you create a bunch of virtual machines on a single server.
Smart.
You get the most out of your hardware that way. Efficiency, flexibility.
Yeah.
It's the name of the game.
So it's not just creating them, it's like managing them and optimizing them too, right?
Absolutely. This slide talks about hypervisor mastery,
Okay.
VM lifecycle management, and container technologies.
That's a mouthful.
It is. So a hypervisor, it's like an orchestra conductor,
Okay.
managing all those virtual machines on the server. IT pros who are good with hypervisors, they can allocate resources like a pro, making sure each virtual machine gets what it needs.
Okay, so what about VM lifecycle management?
Think of it like gardening.
Okay.
You got to nurture those virtual machines
Yeah.
from when they're created to when they're, retired.
Okay.
Patching, updating, securing, the whole 9 yards.
Got it. And last but not least, container technologies. Those are pretty hot right now.
They're on fire.
What's so special about them?
Containers are like those packing cubes people use for travel.
Okay.
They pack everything in nice and neat.
Yeah.
Containers let you bundle an application with all its stuff in a self-contained unit.
Okay.
Super portable, easy to deploy in the cloud.
Makes it easy to move them around.
Exactly. No more compatibility headaches.
Gotcha. So they're all about making things easier to deploy.
And more portable.
All right, let's move on to slide 8. Automation and scripting in the cloud. This feels like a superpower.
It is. It's like having a magic wand.
Right.
Automation lets you streamline all those repetitive tasks.
Yeah.
Free up your time for the important stuff.
Okay.
And way less room for human error.
Yeah.
Think about it. Instead of configuring each server by hand,
Right.
you write a script and boom, it's done automatically.
That's amazing.
It is. It's like having a team of virtual assistants working for you 24/7.
I like the sound of that. So this slide talks about scripting languages, cloud-specific tools, and infrastructure as code. Let's start with scripting languages. I mean, there's so many out there.
I know, right?
Which ones should people focus on?
Well, some of the big ones are PowerShell, Python, Bash. They all have their strengths, but the goal is the same: automate and simplify.
So it's like learning a secret language to control the cloud.
Exactly.
What about cloud-specific tools? Any must-haves there?
Well, each cloud provider has their own set of tools. AWS has things like AWS CLI, CloudFormation. Azure has Azure PowerShell, Azure Resource Manager.
Okay.
They all help you manage your cloud environment using code. Makes everything so much easier.
So it's all about efficiency.
Efficiency is key.
Okay, last one here, infrastructure as code. This sounds pretty advanced.
It is, but it's powerful. Think of it as a blueprint for your whole cloud infrastructure.
Okay.
Instead of setting everything up manually,
Good.
you write it all down in code.
Okay.
And that code can automatically build and manage your infrastructure.
Wow.
It's like having a self-documenting system that you can easily update and share with others.
So it's like a recipe for your cloud.
Exactly.
All right, we're on to our last slide for this part of the deep dive, slide 9, cloud network architecture. This one feels like it could get pretty complex.
It can be, but it's essential.
What is that?
Because understanding how the network is set up in the cloud, that's key for security.
Okay.
And for your applications to run smoothly. This slide's all about VPCs, network security groups, and subnetting.
Okay, let's break it down. VPCs, what are those all about?
A VPC, that's your own private network inside the cloud.
Okay.
It's like having a fenced-off area where you control who can come in and how the traffic moves around. And then you can create subnets to divide that network even further, keep those sensitive applications nice and isolated.
So it's all about security and control.
Exactly.
What about network security groups?
They're like virtual security guards,
Okay.
controlling the traffic flow in and out of your VPC and subnets.
Okay.
You can set rules like who can access what based on their IP address, the port they're using, all sorts of things. Think of it as setting up checkpoints to make sure only the good guys can get through.
So they're like the bouncers of the cloud.
Exactly.
Okay, last one here, subnetting. That's a classic, right?
Yeah, a networking classic.
How does it apply to the cloud?
Subnetting is all about breaking your VPC into smaller chunks,
Okay.
like dividing a city into neighborhoods. Each subnet gets its own IP address range, which helps with performance and security.
Okay, so it's about keeping things organized and efficient.
Exactly.
Wow, we covered a lot of ground.
We did.
From hardware and networking to virtualization and automation, it's amazing how those traditional IT skills really do translate to the cloud. It's just the beginning, right?
Yeah.
We'll be back to keep diving into giving IT